Hey everybody, thanks for coming today and giving us the opportunity to actually do a demonstration for you today. My name is Lyle. I'm with First Canadian Insurance Corporation. We're actually going to be doing a ceramic paint protection demonstration for you guys today for something that you'll be able to offer for sale in your store. I'm with my colleague Brian McElwain with First Canadian. He is our chemical tech who actually goes around and he does all the support for all the detail departments and stuff like that dealerships use. Basically, one of the first questions actually when you're delivering a vehicle, do you deliver scratched vehicles? Typically not. When it comes to ceramic paint protection, preparation is everything. First off, whether it has ceramic or regular platinum paint finish protection on it, you don't want to deliver a scratched vehicle. So as long as the vehicle is free of scratches, ready for delivery, that's when you can actually apply ceramic paint protection. It's actually not new in the industry. It's been around for quite a while, but First Canadian has just got into offering this product. In the past, the product offered was a silicone dioxide product, which took multiple applications, and it actually usually took baking of the paint to make the ceramic hard, because people are familiar with ceramic pots. You got to put it in a kiln, you got to bake it. Technology has changed that process to make it very simple, one application, and basically you're done. So the product that we're using today is actually a silicone carbide product. So it does have some curing time. It actually cross-links with the clear coat on the vehicle. And once it's cured, basically it is locking in the factory finish forever. So if you don't prepare the vehicle properly, if there's a scratch on it and stuff like that, it makes it a lot harder down the road to get that scratch out. So we want to make sure it's perfect before we do it. Every vehicle, when they're delivered, they come with rail dust, basically environmental fallout, acid rain kind of stuff sticking to the paint. Brian, my tech here, has prepared half of this hood with a clay bar mitt because preparation is everything, and the other half we haven't touched at all. So I want to start with Curtis to come around and actually lightly feel the paint on this side of the vehicle and go up a little higher to this side. Everybody come around.
Yeah, it's considerably smoother.
Okay, so just let everybody come around and try that. The silicone carbide product that actually First Canadian is offering in the store here today is actually only used by one other company in the automotive industry today, period. It's exclusive to us, and the only other automotive company that has access to this is Tesla. Tesla puts this on every one of their vehicles. The ceramic coating, when it actually hardens on the paint, it will actually cross-link with the clear coat and create a 50% harder surface. So it's not totally impervious to rock chips and stuff like that. It can harden the surface, but it's not so-called bulletproof. Other companies will actually talk about 9H hardness and stuff like that. If that was actually really, really true, you could technically wash your car with sandpaper. There isn't a ceramic product out there anywhere that I can't walk up to with a key and scratch it. They're not bulletproof, but they're a lot better than no protection whatsoever. So from this point, I am actually going to get Brian to use the clay bar on the other half of the hood, because you need to do, basically it's only the horizontal surfaces that have contamination and stuff on them. Fenders usually don't, but you can check them. But in this demonstration, you'll see how quick you can actually clay bar mitt a vehicle. A lot of people, when you talk clay bar, they go, oh, that's a big process. Need a polisher, all this kind of stuff. Again, technology, they've come out with these mitts, makes it very quick, simple to actually clean the vehicle up. You can see Brian.
A lubricating spray just to allow ease of the clay bed over the clear coat surface.
So you can see Brian, he's not really applying a lot of pressure. It's just it's a very light buffing, polishing, just to take those contaminants that you actually felt when you came by. When you talk about hardness of paint, if you get what you pay for nowadays, General Motors makes a very good vehicle. They paint them with very great paint. They use good quality clear coat. And if you get what you pay for, a lesser vehicle that doesn't cost as much typically doesn't have the same quality of paint and clear coat on it. Our ceramic coating basically will harden your clear coat approximately 50%. So on a lesser vehicle, it'll do the same, but that number still isn't going to be as hard as what the General Motors clear coat would harden to. So that quick, Brian has actually clay barred the other half of the hood. So from this point, actually Brian is going to show the actual product itself. To prepare the surface for the ceramic coating, we actually use a platinum paint cleaner. It's a prep paint. And again, it's very similar to the material that he sprayed on, but this will take any kind of oils, fingerprints, anything off so that the ceramic will actually cross-link with the clear coat cleanly.
Just a light spray.
Here he's just removing the paint prep. It's an alcohol base prep, as I said, just to remove fingerprints or any kind of oils or anything that might be left from anything else. So once you actually have the vehicle cleaned with the prep, the actual ceramic coating comes in a syringe of 10 cc's, which is more than enough to do any vehicle out there. There'll always be actual product left. You don't have to put a lot on, and it's basically, it goes on in circular motions. Brian will actually put on, they typically say 10 drops to start with, but the very first time you actually put something on the sponge, usually you do 15 to 20 drops just to get a little bit of saturation on the sponge. When you apply the product to the paint, you do it in circular motions, very similar to what we've done with other paint protections in the past. The difference with this one is we don't let it totally dry. Once you actually apply the ceramic paint protection, you only want to let it dry to about 80%, and then you use a rag to wipe it down. The biggest thing about the ceramic, once the vehicle is totally ceramic coated, it needs to sit inside before delivery for 1 hour. If it's raining outside, it needs to stay inside for 4 hours. Once you deliver it to the customer would actually have a rear view mirror tag with some directions on it. It's going to be 12 hours before you pressure wash it. And then it's going to be 7 days before you ever wash this vehicle with a detergent or chemical or soap or anything. From there, it takes approximately 20-21 days to totally cure to its total hardness. And once it's at that, it's hard. It's ceramic coated.
Temperature, like winter.
Temperature really shouldn't have too much. Like if it's minus 40, you might want to leave it in a little bit longer, but it really hasn't been that affected by temperature.
You just put one coat and you're done?
One coat and you're done. That's a good question. Like I said,
a lot of people gotta do this many layers.
Like I mentioned in the beginning, good question to bring up. That older technology of the silicone dioxide ceramic coating took multiple applications, and it took baking and multiple days. So, like I said earlier, ceramic's been around for quite a while. First Canadian has just got into the product because the technology has come to a point where if I went to Jeff and said, hey, we got ceramic coating, you can do it in store, it's gonna tie up a bay for days to do one. You won't be that excited about it. Now, because of the curing time, the drying time, and before you get it wet and all that, it's extremely quick where you can do multiple vehicles a day. So it's not the same as other people's.
What about after body shop repairs?
Good question. Actually, after a body shop repair, It would have to, more times than not, it's gonna be the customer's responsibility to make sure that they notify their insurance company if they have a repair or whatever, that I got ceramic on here, and that should be part of the estimate that it needs to be redone. And again, they've come into Ron Hodson's and say, hey, I just got my vehicle painted, crashed the right fender. I want ceramic done, and you know, you guys would be able to reapply it for them.
Is there a wait time after repairs to apply? You gotta wait like a week or?
Yeah, for the body shop would depend on the type of paint that they use, and they'd be able to tell the customer there's going to be an obvious cure time for the paint. The paint needs to be cured also. And that's a good thing to actually bring up, because manufacturers would probably do this at the factory if they could, but the paint has to cure before you can apply this kind of product. And that's, by the time that vehicle gets here from the factory, it's cured.
And what are the benefits of ceramic?
Well, obviously, it's going to be a lot harder than any other finish. It's going to be harder to scratch, harder to chip, although not totally impervious to it. Bugs are going to wash off easier. Dirt's going to come off easier. The vehicle just stays cleaner longer.
And is there any maintenance required?
Not with this, no.
So no reapplication.
There's no reapplication. First Canadian certificates, you can have up to lifetime coverage. If you wanted lifetime coverage, there would be an inspection every 2 years. But at that 2-year level, we're just looking for fading, discolorization, oxidization, bird droppings, tree sap, anything that stained the paint. And if it actually has a problem with it, we would actually pay the store here to correct it.
So there's warranty.
There is coverage available for sure.
So what we just applied right there is as strong as any ceramic coating out there?
Correct.
One-time application, one step.
Again, that's the difference between silicone dioxide and silicone carbide. Two totally different products, kind of with the same finish, but we're not going to tell you that it's 9H hardness. It's 50% harder than what it was. Has anybody here been through a platinum paint finish demonstration? So when you actually do platinum paint finish, you get instant gratification. That means that I can actually apply it to any vehicle here. If I did half the hood, you're gonna see a bigger difference than what you actually touched here, right? Instant gratification. With ceramic, it's gonna take the full cure time before you really see the water beading. So on this vehicle here, as I said, it's gotta stay inside for 1 hour, 4 hours before you get it wet. And so if you waited 4 hours and you put water on here, it's not gonna do much. It's not gonna be much different than this Corvette. But after 20 days of curing, it will bead right off. When you're selling vehicles, something to be basically note of is if this truck here gets sold and it needs 3M, 3M should always be done before we do ceramic coating. It just is gonna stick better, because eventually when this is fully cured, it becomes hydrophobic and things just don't stick as well. That's what it's designed for, right? Not impossible. If this vehicle sat here for 2 months and you needed to do 3M, a little light cut polish on where the 3M is gonna go, and you can apply it.
What about using like a turtle wax or any other type of sealant after?
Good question. Actually, to use polishers or polish after the fact is probably gonna be a waste of money. It's really not gonna do anything for you. Like this clear coat, when it's cured, it's cross-linked with the ceramic. It's not gonna accept anything. It's not porous anymore.
Is it a UV protectant as well?
It's very UV protectant, yes, because that's what's gonna cause fading, discolorization, oxidization. That won't happen with ceramic.
You can apply the ceramic over 3M or extra.
You could, and it won't hurt anything. Some people actually will say that, you know, you can put it on the headlights and, you know, put it on the, you know, this bumper is actually a painted bumper, so no problem. It actually has clear coat on it. So if it's cleared, the ceramic will react with the clear coat and harden the surface. On a headlight, there's no clear on here. It'll clean it up really nice, look great for delivery. It's a little bit of a waste of product. You had a question?
Okay, so the question is, when you're applying the ceramic, what are some things that might happen if you apply it incorrectly?
So the biggest thing about applying incorrectly is our competitor products, you gotta be very careful that you don't overlap the applications. Competitor products, if you were actually doing this hood, you'd almost need a tape line on it to make sure you didn't cross and go over top, or it would actually show. With the First Canadian Platinum Paint Ceramic finish, you can overlap, you can go around, you can go on 3M, you can do whatever you want, and there's actually no worry of damaging anything. So I don't want to say it's foolproof, but it's very safe for the applicator. The only danger applicators would have of damaging, per se, this vehicle is actually in the preparation of it. If they were actually going to power polish a black vehicle, you really got to know what you're doing. So as long as the vehicle doesn't require a power polish, you can get by with a clay mitt, cleaning it up. There's no concern of damaging anything with the application of this product.
Okay, and then applying it over, can you apply it over scratches and stuff like that? Like,
No, so preparation is you want a scratch-free vehicle. If you're delivering a vehicle to a customer, you don't want scratches on
like
it.
a used vehicle, for example.
Used vehicle, if a finance manager is going to be selling a used vehicle and he's going to present ceramic, he best get out of his chair and go and look at that vehicle to make sure it's actually worthy of ceramic. Because it doesn't matter whether it's new or used, if you can get all the scratches out of it, you can ceramic coat it. But typically a used vehicle is going to require more preparation than a new vehicle. Once the ceramic has been done, the detailers have a couple things that they need to put in the vehicle. One is this window tag, basically clips onto the actual rearview mirror. It gives all the instructions for the customer to follow once they take delivery of the vehicle for their ceramic, of making sure they actually don't get it wet for the 4 hours, they don't pressure wash it for 7 and or for 12, and then they don't actually use any chemicals on it, even sunlight soap, nothing like that, for 7 days. The thing that you need to add on here that's not on here, if you actually did a ceramic today, you may not deliver that vehicle till Saturday. So you want to date this just with a Sharpie or something like that it was done April 8th. So a customer knows when their timeline starts. There's also a window sticker that goes just by the handle on the window, just saying that this vehicle has been ceramic coated.